Eva, never done this before, so bear with me. But this is one of my notebooks, and I personally love journaling because I don't know about y'all, but I love going back and looking at my journals from kindergarten and seeing that I spelled guess, G-E-A-S. It's just little things like that that make me through the day. But I also like to see how far I've come and how different my life was from the time that I was a quirky, all smiles, nerdy teacher's pet of an 8-year-old. I still have my happy-go-lucky core, but I'm still begging my parents for a dog, but there have definitely been some changes. For example, I'm definitely not as quiet. I sadly no longer have straight A's, but fortunately I'm not as scared as I used to be, and I embrace life so much more because of it. But even more than that, I love journaling because I've personally reached so many biggest realizations through writing. I even realized that I wanted to give this TED Talk through writing. So I thought, to calm my nerves and hopefully connect with you guys more, what better way to speak straight from the heart than to go to the direct source where all of these realizations and self-motivation happened. But there's one thing in life that I've realized. It's that you've got to go through the unpleasant parts in order to get to the good, life-changing moments. So that's exactly where we're going to start. I was 13 years old in 7th grade. I played field hockey like I did every year, but this time I wanted to be the best that I could and go the extra mile, literally. I told myself that I would run every day that I didn't have field hockey, and then I eventually started running on days I did have field hockey, and just to stay in shape. I started realizing, though, that I was running not for myself, but I was actually chasing the girl I wanted to be. And that girl decided that she wanted to cut out desserts and carbs and all the bad foods. That way, I was bound to be the best girl on the team, not to mention I might cut a few inches off my waist, and who could complain about that? Initially, I was faster, and I thought I looked better, but I didn't need to. The inches started adding up, and instead of becoming faster, I started becoming weaker. Instead of fighting with my parents over how much food I ate, or lying to them about how I didn't go on a run after I did field hockey, I started to shut them out completely. I remember one time after dinner, I had been sitting across from my dad for at least an hour just staring at an unopened granola bar that I was supposed to make up for my dinner that I had not eaten. Instead of screaming or threatening or begging me to eat anything that he could, my dad just looked at me and said, "Eva, do you remember watching Alice in Wonderland?" I didn't say anything. I didn't want to. But my dad continued, and that he says he remembers when Alice had completely given up and doesn't think she will ever get out of Wonderland. She feels utterly lost, worthless, and doesn't believe she could ever amount to be anything. The Mad Hatter doesn't try to make her feel better or try to shake her back to reality. He simply tells Alice that she's lost her muchness. He then looks at me and says, "Eva, you've lost your muchness too." I don't remember saying anything after that. But when I returned from eating disorder treatment months later, I remember asking him what he meant by muchness. And he said, "Muchness is what makes you you. When you were sick, you were lifeless and nothing like the Eva that I've always known." Now that I've been in recovery for 4 years, I realize that even though I may not have understood it at the time, muchness is the most important thing that you could lose. You may be able to fool some people, but your true friends and family will always know that a vital piece of you is missing. So fast forward to this fall, and I'm the happiest I have ever been. I start writing poetry. I share my story more and more. I started a club called Speak Up. Go to Mondays, really great, lots of fun. And as I started sharing my story more, I realized that I began to grow. So I thought that I'd share a little something with you that I actually wrote in this journal. It was the first poem I'd never showed anyone before. And the crazy thing is I'm horrified of reciting poetry and people hearing it, but here I am, so thank you. To All Who Regret by Eva Gravely, me. I know you're scared of the future. I know you live between what ifs and should haves, but I also know that you are alive. that your stories are told through a great adventure, and that the greatest moments that define you happen because you took a chance to make a friend, to tell a guy how you finally felt, to realize that you need help, to ride a roller coaster and for the very first time be filled with awe and the rush of life pumping through your veins instead of dread. To be lifted into the sky and shown places you didn't even know existed. Places so magical and buzzing that you vow to never look back down. And you don't, because that's living. Now, you don't know how many times I've crumpled up, deleted, thrown away ideas for this TED Talk because I thought they weren't perfect. I was so scared not only to give the speech to y'all and see y'all's reactions, but to see my reaction too. What if I hated it? What if I couldn't even get past the first sentence? And before I came here, I was honestly contemplating just what would happen if I didn't come. But I know I shouldn't. And I'm very glad I didn't. Because I've been through enough life to realize that if you know that something is good for you, but all you want to do is run away from it, then the very thing you have to do is sit with it. You might fall in a hole that never seems to stop, like Alice did. But when you get to the bottom, you just might discover an unimaginable new world. Maybe you'll meet someone wise, like the Mad Hatter, who will straighten you out and show you who you really are. Maybe you'll find your purpose. So grab a pencil, take a notebook, dig your heels into your pride, and sit in the discomfort. Because after all, you first have to realize that you've lost your muchness so that you will learn to never take it for granted again. Thank you.